Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chase Corrington. This is the Chase Corrington YouTube channel. September 2nd. Happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Hope you got your coffee. I got my coffee. Hope you're ready for verse 6 of the Tao Te Ching. I'm not quite sure what to expect. I haven't even pre-looked at the verse here. Got my C60 here. Let's give you the label. There we go. Some of that C60 Purple Power to start the day, ladies and gentlemen. C60 Purple Power, ultimate antioxidant. The most powerful antioxidant known to man. Connection is unstable. Come on. Oh well, we're going to power through. Also, if you want to get yourself some C60, go to c60purplepower.com. Use my code CLC10. Save 10% off your purchase. But now we're looking at the Tao Te Ching coming out of Dr. Wayne Dyer's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. It's an incredible book. I suggest going to Amazon or wherever you purchase your books. Go to Hay House Publishing. But so we're looking at the Tao Te Ching from this book, and Wayne Dyer kind of compiled all kinds of different versions of the Tao Te Ching. And there's tons of different translations. And so he compiled the translations that he liked the best and set it down in this version of the Tao Te Ching in each verse. So there may be different translations depending on where you read it from. The 6th verse of the Tao Te Ching, living creatively. 6th verse. The spirit that never dies is called the mysterious feminine. Although she becomes the whole universe, her immaculate purity is never lost. Although she assumes countless forms, her true identity remains intact. The gateway to the mysterious female is called the root of creation. Listen to her voice. Hear it echo through creation. Without fail, she reveals her presence. Without fail, she brings us to our own perfection. Although it is invisible, it endures. It will never end. So good. That's the thing that I love about the Tao Te Ching so far, is every single verse seems to stun me with a deep, mystical, metaphorical, spiritual nature. The spirit that never dies. I'm thinking of the divine feminine here, the God or source, or the creative feminine aspect. A lot of the ancient, wow, that guy's revving up his truck this morning. A lot of the ancient indigenous male. Wow. The spirit that never dies. Yesterday I was just thinking, connection unstable. Interesting. Yesterday I was just thinking how if God is everything, then how can all the terrible, horrible things that are going on in the world be God or source? I mean, how can this divine purity that we are all of and in at the same time, how can this also be the source of all the worst things that there are? And, you know, it's that whole balance thing. It's like for all the good things there are just as many bad things, and the duality of it. But it's interesting to think that the purity of the oneness is also the whole universe, which contains maybe some not so pure things. It's deep, hard to understand. Listen to her voice. Hear it echo through creation. This makes me think of as we sit in a circle and suppose the silence sits in the center and knows. It is in silence that you find the answer, that you find your source. Without fail, she reveals her presence. Without fail, she brings us her own perfection. So it's like automatically it is all unfolding all the time. Automatically, it is perfect in its own way. And I'm looking out at the world. I'm looking out at the plants growing out here and trees in the distance and the sky. And I'm thinking about nature and the world. And although it is invisible, this process that creates and runs and without fail reveals and perfects everything, although it is invisible, it endures and it will never end. Amazing. Wayne Dyer writes here, in this 6th verse, Lao-tzu refers to an eternal and indescribable force of creation that continuously gives birth to new life. He tells us that this mysterious female energy continually reveals itself in perfection. And he invites us to an awareness of that voice of creation echoing throughout life in a myriad of ways. Living creatively is how he describes existing with a conscious awareness of the presence of this feminine principle. This mysterious female is always birthing everything we experience in the world. Every event, every feeling, every emotion. And so today our challenge, do the Tao now. Today notice babies and small children. Look for the mysterious feminine nature in little boys and girls who haven't yet become so attuned to cultural and societal demands that their true selves are hidden. Can you see some whose inherent nature is intact? Look for this. I'm going to add this. Go out when you see young children. Look for the wonder in their eyes that their minds have yet to be overcome with exactly what it says here, so attuned and overwhelmed with our cultural and societal programs and demands that keep us from recognizing our true selves that are hidden within us. And so that we can keep that inherent nature of wonder, joy, bliss, discovery, and we can cultivate it and maintain it. Notice what seems to be their natural character or their gift, the Tao. Then try to recall yourself as a child when the natural Tao-given self was unaware of the ego self. It's like, try to go back to before you worried about how much you had or how much you could get or how, what status you carried and all of this stuff. Try to recall yourself as a child when the natural Tao-given self was unaware of the ego self. By the time before you believed that acquisitions or power were important, who were you then? Who are you then? Yes, today spend a few moments with a young child and contemplate his or her connection to the Tao, to Source, to God, whatever you want to call it, and how it unfolds perfectly without any interference. So powerful, that advice. Just the pointing out that our true self, our source self, separate from our ego self, is not that. Our ego self is so attuned and attached to our cultural and societal demands that we chase after power and possessions and acquisitions and all the things that makes our ego self feel better, when the truth lies in the divine feminine creative force within all of us. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed. Hope somebody got value from that. If you missed it, go back and watch from the beginning. Hope the connection was decent. And to go right along with that, as I always say, seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment, but also realize that happiness is not the goal. Happiness is not what we're striving to acquire. Rather, it is what we bring of us. It is the way. It is where we arrive. And there's also the balance, the purity, the divine nature that is everything is not pure goodness. Despite what we may want, because if the all is all that's out here, then that means good and bad things are included in the all. Thank you, the unfathomable of spirituality. I appreciate that. Truly appreciate that. It's just fascinating to think that if everything is the unfolding of Source, Tao, God, whatever it is, if everything is the unfolding of God, then that means all the bad things too are the unfolding of God. And I like to think that the bad things are catalysts for good things to happen in the future. And so maybe when we're not happy, when we're struggling with maintaining our happiness, we should remind ourselves that it is part of it. It is part of the all. There must be unhappiness for us to create happiness. Maybe. I'm still discovering. It's deep. What do we got here? Yes, but I think our thoughts are an important role. Are they positive or negative? Yes, you're totally right. Maintaining positivity. I think if we go negative in our thoughts, we become magnetized, magnetically attracted to the snowball effect of negative thinking. So you're super right there. Positive. For finding a way to flip our perspective from the way we look at things, instead of failing or struggling, we are learning and growing. Isn't that the truth? Our hardest, most struggling times are those where we learn the most and grow the most, even though we never want to. We never want to struggle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, Unfathomable. Appreciate you being in the chat room there. Appreciate you being here to chat. Go over and check out the CLC Paint YouTube channel. I'll be over there in a little bit finishing up the painting that's back over there. And also remember to go over to C60PurplePower.com. Get yourself some of the most powerful antioxidant known to man. And go from low to high. Hopefully we